Ladies and gentlemen, a news article just came out indicating that Malaysia is the second least safe country in ASEAN, and it's really something that we need to take a look at. And let's watch on, shall we? So the title of my talk today is Malaysia really the second least safe country in ASEAN? And there is a viral headline that is right now running wild across not just in Malaysia but also in Singapore. So this article just came out. Malaysia ranks second least safe ASEAN country for walking alone at night. Now Singapore top in terms of being safe, and I don't think that's a surprise. But Malaysia is now ranked second least safe, and that's a point of concern. So the headline that everybody is talking about comes from the Gallup ranking, and in this Gallup ranking, Malaysia is ranked 100 globally for being unsafe to walk alone at night, and I think that's quite serious. Okay, and of course the reaction is is quite serious. And I'll be frank with you, clearly because I'm a person who go to Malaysia a lot, and so does I don't know more than 500,000 to 1 million Singaporeans every month. I think most of us would partially agree and partially disagree, but I think this ranking is a bit misleading. But let's take a look at some of the news articles comment, shall we? So, as a point of comment, some of the netizen actually questioned the findings. So, one Facebook user actually said this: "It's indeed very dangerous to walk alone at night because not because of crime, but because there's abundance of late night food that could cause obesity. So it's very dangerous to walk alone at night. Too many mamak store, ikan bakar store, ayam penyet, and tom yum restaurant can cause obesity. That's the dangerous part." And someone claimed that it's sponsored by Singapore Tourism Promotion Board, which is why we got such a high ranking. I think that's just very playing funny. And someone said, "I've been walking on Malaysian street for more than 60 years now and have not encountered anything sinister." Maybe the person reporting this walk only walked once and got hooked somewhere. So you can see, right? So there's a lot of skepticism on the ground. So in reality, the answer is it depends. Okay. So the truth is, many Malaysian women actually feel unsafe at night because maybe certain places are poorly littered up. And I suppose that there are genuine cases of crime in quiet, dangerous places. And I think this is real. Let's not try to defend it. Okay, but I think it's a feeling of unsafe versus being unsafe. And I think perception doesn't really match reality sometimes. So just to talk about this survey before we talk about on the ground, this survey I think has some problem because this is about perception, what people feel. Okay. And so it's a survey about feelings and not actual statistics. Sample size not too big, about 1,000 respondents per country, and they do not break down into rural, urban, JB, Malacca, KL, Penang, whatsoever. And I think, secondly, safe, ignore some complexities on the ground. Okay, my personal experience on ground being such a experienced Malaysian traveler, uh, so so I think depends on which city you go. If you walk in KL, certain places, busy places, I think it's actually very safe. Okay, JB, shopping area like let's say Mid Valley, Mount Austin, I think is very safe. I think Penang is very safe as well. Okay, but of course there are also certain places that you don't go. Okay, dark, isolated places you don't go there. Don't say Malaysia or any parts of the world. In Singapore, you won't go to certain dark corners at night alone as a lady, right? I think it's quite unsafe to do that also. So there are some common sense practices that you want to practice, and I think this is something that we will do that not just overseas but also in Singapore. Now, I think there's also one thing that many Singaporeans will certainly do is that we think we do believe Singapore is very good, okay? And that's largely because there's lighting everywhere, policing is incredible whatsoever. So when we Singaporeans compare that with overseas, I think almost no country beats us. Now, the actual Malaysian crime statistics actually shows that the crime has been falling and falling pretty rapidly over the years, okay? And I would say that on the ground, the Malaysia 10 years ago, 20 years ago versus now is very different, super different. Those days we are a lot more conscious. Now, I think the level of insecurity I feel is far worse in Europe. I'm in Europe right now. I can tell it's far more dangerous, like 5 or 10 times more dangerous than JB, for example. So I think situation is getting a lot better compared to Singapore. No fight, okay, but I think Malaysia is getting better, and I think we as Singaporeans, as tourists or holiday dwellers over there, I think we do feel it. I don't know whether you feel the same, but nowadays I actually see a lot more police visibility in Malaysia. And I also do see a lot CCTV everywhere and a lot more littered area, bright up area. And I think the experience I have so far in popularly visited areas in Malaysia is a lot more safer. Okay, cars are less prone of being smashed and things like that. And robberies, pickpockets, all this, I think a lot less right now. So on the ground, so I actually think that Malaysia has gotten a lot better, and I think this is a positive news. So on this particular news survey, I think it's about feelings, and I think feelings are genuine, especially Malaysian feelings. There is a lot of insecurity that's been built up over the decades. Over the last few years, things are getting better in my opinion, but the lingering feeling that the Malaysian have will probably last a lot. So it's in some sense like a trauma. Trauma doesn't go away too quickly. So I actually think that the perception is still there. I understand. But to say that it's second most dangerous in ASEAN, I think maybe a bit too far, right? No, let's say you go to Cambodia, no chance. Laos, no chance. Yeah, no chance. Cambodia, you might get caught up by the bloody Chinese human traffickers and lock up and beaten, beaten, and become a scammer on their behalf and things like that. You know, how can a country like some of these countries be safer than Malaysia, right? So I don't believe. Okay. So I suppose context is everything. When we talk about safety, we need to talk about location, time as well, and also driven by common sense. And I would say that when we watch such a news, you gotta look at it with a bit of critical eye. So in summary, I think that Malaysia is okay, it's okay. It's not perfect, but I think it's okay. And I actually think that for us who are going there for holidays, for full retirement, partial retirement, ad hoc holidays, whatsoever, I personally think it's safe. I think this feeling will be shared with many Singaporeans as well. More than 500,000 to 1 million people travel every month to Malaysia. I don't think we feel that kind of insecurity that is raised up by this survey. So it's a bit of house logy. So I would think that this Malaysia being the second least unsafe country in ASEAN is a pack of BS. So let's just write this news off and continue to enjoy our wonderful shopping and so on. Okay. So I'll see you again in a day or two. Signing off from Europe. And this is Mr. Lu. Bye bye.